As Momo fends off an attack in the outdoor hot spring, Okarun and Jiji panic over how to handle the mysterious room. Just then, the doorbell rings. Hello and welcome to another episode of Dandadan. So Dandadan Thursdays is back. I'm so excited. I freaking love this series so much. It's one of my favorite mangas of all time, and the anime is so good. So this is season 2, episode 1, also known as episode 13. This is the Legend of the Giant Snake, and we are continuing with the Curse House arc. So the episode starts exactly where last season ended. In fact, you could pretty much tell that this was kind of like broken up into separate seasons because the season finale leads right into this episode, and there's no like recaps or anything like that. It just jumps right in, and it's the scene where Momo's being attacked by the Kito family in the hot springs, which was, in my opinion, a ballsy scene to end the season on. Like, holy cow, you're going to end with one of the main characters about to be assaulted in that way? Wow. Things go okay for Momo. I mean, as okay as can be in a situation like this. So yeah, we start off with one of the Kito families basically in the middle of attacking her. But before he can do anything too nefarious, a piece of the statue like breaks off and smacks him in the head. And that's when the hot springs, like a pipe bursts and starts spraying water everywhere. Everyone starts freaking out. People try to escape the hot springs. As Momo is climbing out, more of the hot springs starts collapsing. Like just parts of the buildings and walls and fences and stuff starts collapsing. It starts landing on top of the Kito family. One of the Kito family members grabs Ayase by the leg and once again tries to do things to her. But once again, Momo is saved as the wall of the hot springs falls and ends up collapsing right on top of him. And then we have Momo just admiring the view, which was very weird. you almost just get assaulted by a group of dudes, and then you just take the time to appreciate the view. But that's when it turns out that Turbo Granny is there. So Turbo Granny was there the entire time. She basically just said that when I heard you talking to Seiko about going to this location, I remember that there was a very famous hot springs there, and I decided to sneak into your backpack so that I can check it out. And then we have like this funny little moment where we just see her like sneaking into the backpack all stealth-like. But before they can talk even longer, a bunch of like cops show up and they see the Kito family, and the Kito family tries to make a run for it as the cops chase after them. And then we just have Momo. She ends up getting dressed, and then she takes Granny with her as she goes to locate the temple that will give her information on the giant serpent. And along the way, she basically thanks Turbo Granny for helping her out at the hot springs. And Turbo Granny kind of becomes a tsundere, where she says that she had nothing to do with it. It was just her luck because she is in the body of the fortune cat. Like, she gives good luck to people around her. And so her luck rubbed off on Momo. And that's why all the crazy things happened. It was all just a coincidence. But you can kind of get the hint that it's just her kind of not wanting to take credit for helping her because she wants to play the act of, like, I don't really care about you. But if you think about it, it's going to come up later again. Turbo Granny, like, whenever a girl is about to be attacked, Turbo Granny tends to show up in some way to help out. And it goes back to her story. If anyone remembers, Turbo Granny, her whole shtick was that she stayed in the tunnel because that was an area where a lot of girls were assaulted and murdered. And she basically is there to, like, protect their spirits, to help guide them so that they don't become lost, or basically to give them comfort because they just went through a traumatic experience. So, yeah. Momo also asks, so what do you think about the house, Gigi's house? Like, when I was there, I didn't sense anything wrong. Turbo Granny just straight up says, yeah, that place is no good. It has the stink of death and blood. And that's when we cut to the house where we have Okarun and Jiji, and they're looking through the hole where they see all the talismans. And Jiji wants to break the wall open and go inside and check it out. But Okarun's like, no, we should probably wait for Momo to come back with information because we have no idea what's what's in there, what any of this means. And that's when they get a ring on the doorbell, and they go, and it is the Kito family. Only this is the women's side of the Kito family, which is led by Naki Kito, the granny that you see up front. She just basically barges in and gets Jiji to serve them up a bunch of food. And pretty much she kind of just runs the place. And it turns out that she is the landlord for this house. And that she is allowing Jiji to stay here rent-free after what happened to his parents. Because I'm doing that, because I'm kind enough to allow you to stay here without charging you rent, I need you to be a good host and bring out all your food and stuff and just let us eat and things. And during this, we have like a quick flash of a Saint Germain poster, which will play a part later on in this episode. It's funny because I completely forgot why this poster showed up. I thought it was just kind of like a little Easter egg. I won't spoil anything, but let's just say that the name Saint Germain is going to play a big part later on. Not in the anime. I don't think season 2 is going to reach that point. But maybe season 3. But going back to Jiji and the Kito family, the grannies are basically pissed off. They're like, stop bringing in a bunch of spirit mediums and stuff. There's no ghost around here. You claiming that there's ghosts is dropping down the property value. That's the excuse that they're using, but you can tell that there's something shady going on here. Especially when Naki Kito pulls out a rifle and aims it right at Jiji and basically says, you know, I have a license for a hunting rifle. Who knows, maybe one of these days I'll go out hunting for boar and someone just might get in the way and an accident might happen. She's straight up just threatening Jiji. And I think it's kind of funny how Gigi's like, yeah, even if you have a license, I don't think you should be pointing a gun at people. If the cops were to see you do that, a license wouldn't save you. And that's immediately when a cop shows up. But it turns out that this cop, who is Officer Suru, he is involved with the Kito family. He's basically like a stooge for them. So the fact that Naki is pointing a rifle at Jiji doesn't faze him whatsoever. In fact, he's the one that helped the Kito family escape from the other cops when it came to being chased down because of what happened at the hot springs. They would have been captured if it wasn't for this guy. And then that's when we have one of the Kito family members. I believe this is Juchi. Juchi questions Jiji, like, what's going on here? Who's your friend here? Is he another spirit medium? And Jiji's like, no, this isn't a spirit medium. I mean, just look at him. He's just a friend. And Juchi's like, are you sure? Are you sure you're not lying to me? Because I hate liars. And he's like, no, it's just my friend. So Juchi turns to Okarun and says, well, if you're Jiji's friend, then what's Jiji's favorite soccer team? You should know that, right? And Okarun says it's Saint Germain because that's the poster that he saw. And so Jiji's like, oh, I guess you weren't lying. And then that's when Naki asks Jiji, what about the girl? Talking about Momo. And Jiji tries to say, yeah, there is no girl. Like, it's just me and Okarun. I have no idea who this girl is. And Naki's like, you lied to us. And that's when we cut to Momo. And Momo goes to the Tsuchinoko Shrine, which is the shrine dedicated to the Great Serpent, whose name is Shukinoko. I'm just going to refer to it as the Great Serpent because Shukinoko, I might be pronouncing that wrong and I don't want to be like fumbling that. So the Great Serpent. And the Great Serpent is run by this guy named Manjiro, who is doing handstands and filming himself because he wants to become a boob tuber, which basically a YouTuber. Manjiro is just kind of funny. For anyone who likes this guy, you're going to see more of him later on. But yeah, Manjiro was like, oh, so you want to see the remains of the Great Serpent, because that's what is one of the big attractions of this shrine, is that not only is this shrine dedicated to the Great Serpent, but it also has like a part of the Great Serpent. And he's like, yeah, come on in, I can show you. And Momo was kind of surprised, like, really, it's that easy? And he's like, yeah, I mean, I don't care. Like, if you want to come see it, that's the whole point of this shrine. So come check it out. And it's basically just kind of like tiny little like snake skin that was shedded. And she's just kind of like, this is it? He's like, yeah, that's all it is. That's all that's left of the Great Serpent. I don't really believe any of that stuff. I think it might just be like an umbilical cord or something. But he tells the story of the Great Serpent, of how there was this volcano that was erupting and causing chaos. And so the Great Serpent appeared, and they worshipped the Great Serpent, and the Great Serpent blessed them by stopping the volcanoes from erupting, as well as granting them the famous hot springs. And so because of that, the town has been blessing the Great Serpent. But I think it's all just a load of bull. I don't really care about any of this stuff. I just want to be a bootuber. And Momo's just like, you know what? You might be better off if you actually discuss this kind of stuff for your bootube rather than just doing a bunch of handstands. And Manjiro just kind of has this shock expression like, oh my god, why didn't I think of that before? So Momo heads back to the house. And I like how like along the way, she's just thinking about Okarun. She's like, oh man, I wanted to show the shrine to Okarun, but he might have been disappointed to find out that the Great Serpent is nothing more than a fraud. But I just kind of like how Okarun is always on Momo's mind. The build-up of this relationship throughout this series is really, really good. It's, in my opinion, it's one of the best relationship build-ups ever. But, of course, she shows up just to see Jiji and Okarun basically stripped down to just their pants, and they're kind of, like, beaten up. And then all the Kido family are just standing around, and Momo's just like, oh my god, like, what did I just walk into? And immediately she starts kicking ass. I freaking love Momo. She's one of my favorite fictional characters of all time. She's so greatly written. But yeah, as soon as she sees her boys in trouble, she just immediately jumps into the fight. Starts kicking Kidos in the head. We have like a cool moment where she uses her powers to grab another member, pull him to her, and then she knees him in the face. The animation for this is really, really great. I wish I can show some clips, but YouTube is going a little bit crazy with the whole copyright situation. I don't even know how well like just having stills will be, so I don't want to be showing images, but I mean, watch it for yourself. It is freaking awesome. I think Science Saru has done an amazing job when it comes to the animation, not just for the fight scenes, but just in general. But yeah, Momo just starts kicking ass. We have another moment where she knocks one down and kicks him right between the legs, and he has like this girlish scream. So Momo is just beating the crap out of the Kido family, until eventually one of the Kidos grabs her from behind. I believe this is Jugina. But Jugina is choking her, kind of rubbing Momo's leg in a sexual manner. And then once again, Turbo Granny comes out, calls him a turd, and causes Jugina to stumble back, slip, and knock his head into a table and get knocked out. So again, Granny comes for the save as soon as a girl is being assaulted. You could just call it a coincidence. Turbo Granny tries to play it off like the only reason she did this was because him grabbing Momo was causing him to, like, he was pressing against her back, so it was squishing Turbo Granny while she was trying to sleep. But once again, Turbo Granny only comes out when someone is being, well, when the female, I should say, is being assaulted. And then that's when Naki joins the fight. And Naki's freaking badass in terms of being a fighter. I mean, as a person, she sucks, obviously. But as a fighter, she is freaking amazing. Like, she's going around doing flips, spin kicks. Her style is called the Jennifer Lopez Anaconda style, because Jennifer Lopez was in the movie Anaconda, and the Kido family worships the great serpent snake. So, yeah, her fighting style is called the Jennifer Lopez Anaconda. And so she uses the Jennifer Lopez Anaconda to knock Momo. She hits her so hard that she knocks Momo through the wall and into the room with all the talismans. And all the Kido family pose and basically tell the legend of the Great Serpent Lord. And to talk about how the Kido family has been worshipping and protecting the Great Serpent Lord for over 200 years. Basically, this area that the house is sitting on used to be an altar to the Great Serpent Lord. And what they did was they sacrificed a human to the altar, to the Great Serpent. And the Great Serpent took that sacrifice and made sure that the volcano remained dormant and blessed him with the hot springs. And so throughout the generations, the Kido family would build houses where the altar would be, and the houses would constantly change to fit the current era. And what their plan was, since they owned the houses, is that they would have families come in to rent the place, and then they were sacrifice the families. So it wasn't just the one sacrifice. They were constantly sacrificing families to the great serpents throughout all these years to protect the village. And they had planned on doing that with Jiji's family, which is why Jiji's parents are in the hospital. But Jiji stopped that. He stopped his parents from dying, and then he left, which prevented them from being able to complete the sacrifice. But now that Momo's here, we got 3 sacrifices, and we're going to sacrifice you to the Great Serpent. As they say that, the room that Momo's in starts sinking, and Momo starts sinking down with it. She tries to make an escape, but the Keto family is there to block her path. We're going to refuse to let you out. You must be a sacrifice. And then after you're sacrificed, your 2 friends are going to be sacrificed with you. And that's when Jiji and Okarun attack the Keto family from behind and try to grab Momo and save her. But the floor kind of collapses, and everybody, including the Keto family, end up falling through the hole. And then, of course, we get another moment where, as they're falling, Momo grabs Okarun and uses her psychic powers to shield him. Well, shield the both of them, I should say. So we got more like little shipping service with the 2 of them hugging each other and stuff. I do think this moment right here was kind of funny, where Momo's like, holy cow, like, how are we going to get out of here? How do we get back up? Because the way out is kind of high up. And I'm just thinking, I mean, you can either, one, use your powers to grab the hole, like the ledge, and pull yourself up. Or maybe you can just have Okarun turn into Turbo Granny and he can jump up there. We've seen Okarun jump higher than the hole is from them, like the way out. But yeah, instead they're just like, okay, I guess we're stuck here for now. And that's when they look down, they see all the other previous houses that used to be on top of this place. Which kind of makes me wonder, so does that mean that they have a house, they allow a family to come in, and then when they sacrifice the family, they sink the entire house down and then build another house on top? All the houses are down there. Everyone's down there. Jiji is there as well. He's falling. Momo tries to grab him, but she misses. And he ends up landing on top of the giant serpent, which awakens and comes up. And Granny points out that, wait a second, this isn't a great serpent. This is something else. And Momo's like, what is it? And that's when Okarun says, that's the Mongolian deathworm. And every time I hear Mongolian deathworm, I just think of the SpongeBob episode with the Bikini Bottom deathworm. But the Mongolian deathworm is only supposed to be like 1.5 meters tall. So how the hell is it this big? Keto family's basically celebrating like how blessed we are for your arrival. How blessed are we to be able to see you with your own eyes. Momo's like yelling at them like, you idiots, this isn't a snake. This is just a giant worm that you've been worshiping all this time. But the Keto family ignore them and instead are like, here are your sacrifices. They are in no way part of the Keto family. Instead, the Keto family is the one that brought them to you. So please eat them. And then the Mongolian deathworm just ends up eating the Keto family instead. And as it's eating the Keto family, Jiji, Momo, and Okarun decide to hide out inside one of the houses. But as soon as they climb in, something happens to Momo and Okarun. Like they just kind of collapse on the floor and they're kind of grabbing their head. Only Jiji's unaffected and he's wondering what's wrong. And that's when Okarun is forced to transform into Turbo Granny. And he attacks Jiji. And that's how the episode ends. I love this. I'm so glad this series is back. It's so freaking amazing. But yeah, I love the animation for this. I love the fact that they are just almost pretty much doing a 1-for-1 of the manga. Which just kind of makes you wonder, why the hell can't Hollywood do that? Why does Hollywood always have to change things? I get sometimes if you're doing it for like a movie, you have to cut things out because you can't fit everything. Like you can't adapt everything from a series, whether it be a book or a comic or whatever, into a full-length movie. Sometimes you got to cut things out. You got to drop characters, things like that. But try to remain as 1-for-1 as you possibly can. Like Japan knows to do that when it comes to the anime. And maybe that's why anime is exploding. Because you start pleasing the fans of the original source material. And then you bring in a new audience with people who like maybe haven't read the manga. For example, for Dandadan. I know plenty of people who are just anime only, and they absolutely love this series. And of course, you have the manga fans, and they absolutely love this series. So you're pleasing a bunch of people. You're not just like pleasing only newbies, like only anime onlys, and then the manga crowd doesn't care for it because you changed too many things. So it just, again, it makes me wonder why Hollywood can't do this. Yeah, not only is it almost a perfect 1-for-1, the voice acting is really good, both in the English dub as well as the original Japanese. Subtitles are actually pretty good for the most part. Like, I haven't really seen any crazy localization, you know, where the localizer is trying to insert their own stuff into it. Haven't really seen any of that. Animation is really, really freaking good. I didn't talk about the intro and outro music, but both of them are good. Of course, the intro, it's not Creepy Nuts anymore. It's a new band. And I will say it's not as great as Creepy Nuts, but it's still good. Like, I still enjoyed the opening theme. The outro theme is pretty good as well. But yeah, I love this. Everything about this was great. I'm so glad that Dandadan is back. I can't wait for more episodes to drop. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time. Take care. Later. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I still want to thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next one is more to your liking. With that said, thank you once again, and I hope you guys and gals have a good one. Later.